Good day, my name is Gary Boshoff and I'm the Director Community and Protection Services at Stellenbosch Municipality. We are here for the presentation of the annual IDP or Integrated Development Plan process, and in this case specifically for wards 18 and 19. This is the first year that this presentation is done on a pre-recorded platform because of two reasons. Firstly, because of the impact of COVID-19, which have significantly interrupted our engagements with communities over the past 2 years. And secondly, because of the potential of load shedding that also has disrupted our presentations on the online platforms. But today, we will start off this process by sharing the agenda for today's presentation, and from then on, I will start immediately with the important parts of the presentation. Once again, welcome to the Ward 18 and Ward 19 IDP public participation process. And this is, of course, the areas of Klapmuts, the Nova, the Altevrede, Muldersvlei, and the surrounding farming areas. The agenda is very straightforward. I've done the opening in the welcome, and the first slide will deal, after this, will deal with the legal framework, that is the legislative framework of South Africa that deals with local government and the participation process. Then we'll look at the fifth generation integrated development plan that runs from 2022 to 2027. Then we'll also have a look at the processes of how the public participation will happen in Stellenbosch Municipality for this specific cycle. And then, of course, the specific objectives of IDP public participation and the specific model that we will follow in Stellenbosch Municipality. And then the important part on the agenda is the specific services that were requested by the communities of these two wards during the last cycle. We'll give a short report back on that, and then also request inputs from you as a community for the next generation of IDP plans that we're going to develop and review over the next 5 years. There will also be a community feedback per portfolio that is linked to those services. And finally, the ward priorities and specific announcements around very important matters or activities or projects that is happening in the municipality that is linked to the provincial government as well as national over the next 4 to 6 months, which would be of interest to the various communities. Let's start off with a legal framework. First and foremost, just to contextualize, the Municipal Systems Act guides or directs the way we conduct and develop local government business plans. And in the legislation, it is referred to as a strategic plan for the development of the municipality. And through this strategic plan, which is basically a business plan, which is the IDP, takes into account all the proposals for the development of the municipality that comes from the community, that comes from the various sectors in the community, but also inputs from the various municipal departments to determine the best way of developing the various areas and sectors of the municipality. An important component of that is specified in the MSA is that the municipality cannot just develop a business plan on its own. The municipality needs to consult with you, the community, and draw your inputs into the various components of this plan, and hence the importance of public participation and this activity that we're busy with now. I have referred in the introduction in the agenda to the fifth generation of the IDP, and since this process started, there has been 4 generations of IDPs of 5-year schedules. This one is called the fifth, which commences in 2022, and the process that we're busy with now is to give feedback on the last review of the 4th generation, and then to gather your inputs for the first year of the 5th generation of the integrated development process, which will run from 2022 to 2027, and that is the period of the newly elected councils that have been recently elected and inaugurated. So those are the years that we will be reviewing the IDP, or the business plan that we will compile out of these sessions, which will be approved at the end of May 2022, and then we'll start with the whole process all over again on an annual basis until 2027, when we will finalize the last year of review of this, the 5th generation of the IDP. Then we zoom in on the specific process that we will follow in the Stellenbosch municipality. And this process that we're busy with now is the initial stage of gathering your inputs, reporting back, so that we can have all the information through this participation process that we can take into the municipality to the various directorates. So in January and February, the various directorates and management and council will have a look at all the inputs that was gathered through this consultation process, and we will work it into a broad-based strategy or the initial business plan for the Stellenbosch municipality. Then around towards the end of March, we'll further refine those inputs into various projects and integrate it with a sectorial plan within the municipality for each directorate, so that all the inputs can be crystallized into project plans and linked to budgets. From March to April, we will further include that into the budget and the initial IDP, the draft IDP, which in April, before it goes back to council for approval, we'll open it up again to you, the public, to make your comments and to make recommendations based on what's included in the budget and in the IDP. We will come back to the communities towards 18 and 19 like today, and make sure that you have an opportunity and you are made aware of the opportunity to comment on those draft budget plans, IDP documents that we will submit to council at the end of May for approval with your input. And of course, what is important is that we understand on this new platform that we're using in this year on how you will be able to make your voices heard through the municipality. And again, this is the very first time that we're going to use this pre-recorded video presentations, which the municipality's IDP department will make available on the municipal website. By this time, you would have familiarized yourself with the Stellenbosch Citizen app. And if you don't have, please make contact with the communications department at the Stellenbosch municipality or the IDP section to learn more about how you can get access to the Stellenbosch Citizen app. It is available through the Google Play Store, the iStore, Windows Store, and Java. But please contact the municipality if this all sounds a bit strange to you. You can also get the information through WhatsApp and through email through the IDP department. So please feel free, if you get access or after you have had an opportunity to view and listen to this presentation and the content of it, please feel free to submit your recommendations and your comments through these various platforms to the municipality. The objectives of IDP public participation. We have come to the end of the 4th generation IDP, which was of the previous council of 5 years. So this will be an opportunity for you to give feedback or the review of the last year of the fourth generation. But more importantly, it provides you, the public, with an opportunity to engage and to submit comments on what you need to be included in the first IDP of the fifth generation. It's critically important. It's all about what are the needs of the community in Ward 18 and Ward 19. And when you access this presentation and you have an opportunity to make your comments, please look at what are the issues in your wards that are pertinent and that you need the municipality to include in the business plan or in the strategy plan, in the budget, and in the IDP, whether it's SDF related or it is safety related. Please make a note of that and make sure that the municipality is made aware of it so that we can consider it when we finalize the budget and the IDP towards the end of May 2022. Importantly, the due date for these comments and inputs is Wednesday, the 12th of January. Please keep that due date in mind, because after that, the inputs would be a little bit late, and the next opportunity will only come in April for you to make inputs. This is an important notice. When you have service issues like water leakages, electrical problems, street lights that are not working, stormwater drains that are blocked, or covers that have broken or it's disappeared, refuse removal that are not happening at regular intervals, or area cleaning issues that is problematic in your street, in your area. Please do not submit those as part of the IDP feedback. That's why we have these other contact numbers or the service desks in the municipality where you can report those issues to. Those are telephone numbers for various areas in the municipality that are listed on this slide. There's a WhatsApp number that you can send very quickly, very effectively, and also an email address that you can send these service reports to, and you will be responded to almost immediately with a reference number. This is very important because it will make the work of the IT department easier, but more importantly, it will communicate or relay your concern or your issue directly to the department that's responsible. Thank you very much for dealing with this matter in this way and helping us to bring a better service to the community. Well, that has been a mouthful. Now we can move on to the particular community feedback per portfolio. And this feedback is based on the needs that were articulated by the communities of Ward 18 and Ward 19 during the last cycle. And the various directorates or departments in the municipality have taken a look at that and has now provided feedback on what the municipality has been doing or is planning to do around those areas of concern that you've highlighted in the previous cycle. First of all, the directed planning, local economic development and tourism. And this is now, some of this feedback is general and some is specifically directed on issues that were raised in your ward or by the community in Ward 18 and 19. First of all, with regard to unemployment and job creation, which is a generic challenge that is experienced by almost all communities in the municipality. And this is something that municipality is indirectly working with the business sector to create an enabling environment for investment. Investment brings the establishment of new businesses. That is, of course, then a platform to grow employment within the municipality. So job creation is something that is really an outcome of economic growth and not an activity of the municipality. But what we do is we participate in national government programs such as the extended public works program, and with that, we are given grants from national government to develop EPWP projects for low-income jobs, and this is a program that is very extensively applied by Stellenbosch municipality with government grants, but also with our own money. The municipality will strictly focus on EPWP contracts for its own residents, and those residents must be registered on the municipal job seekers database. This is extremely important. So if there are members of this community that is unemployed and that is seeking to be employed through the EPWP program, please contact the LED department of the municipality, which will then direct you to the right department where you can register yourself on the municipal job seekers database, or have a look at the municipal website where you will find further information on this. The following graphs just gives you an idea the extent to which the municipality provides employment to our local communities, and those graphs indicate the areas in the municipality where EPWP jobs are provided to locals, and you can see from the graph that it's fairly evenly spread throughout the municipality, with Kayamandi, where most of the projects over the last year has happened, hence the reason why the majority of the EPWP workers were sourced from within Kayamandi. But you can also see that in De Nova, in Clutisville specifically, and also in other areas, there has been a good representation of workers. It, of course, it's dependent on the number of projects that are there. Program, and once again, it of course is dependent on whether or not there is an EPWP project registered for that particular area, and then the municipality, in terms of its policy, tries to source workers from within that area to work on the EPWP program. There's also a breakdown for you in terms of gender and age. The municipality tries as far as possible to provide opportunities to a broad spectrum of the communities. Youth unemployment is a major challenge, and you will see the stats show that we do employ or recruit a substantial more young people to work in the EPWP program, and it's also satisfying to see that women are the majority EPWP workers, because nowadays we see more households being headed by women as breadwinners, and the municipality is consistently looking at ways of improving or spreading these work opportunities across the various regions or areas of the municipality. Further areas of local economic development is tourism. You might be aware that Stellenbosch is one of the towns in the Cape Winelands that is heavily dependent on the tourism industry, and through that the municipality is working very closely with the district municipality, with the provincial government, to develop strategies to enhance and support the tourism sector. Stellenbosch municipality itself is presently finalizing a draft Stellenbosch municipality economic development strategy with a strong focus on supporting local tourism organizations, or LTOs as they are commonly known. So if you are part of a tourist activity of a local tourism organization or an entity that seeks support from the municipality, please keep a lookout for the advertisement that will appear towards the end of January on our website and in newspapers, where we invite local tourism organizations or NGOs to apply for funding for the municipality. In Klapmuts, in terms of local economic development, the municipality has actively engaged and in partnership with Drakenstein Municipality, the City of Cape Town, the Western Cape Government, and DEPI is Department of Environmental Affairs and Development Planning in the Western Cape Government, as part of the Greater Cape Regional Spatial Implementation Working Group. And through this working group, we are looking at ways of enhancing the economic development opportunities in Klapmut South, specifically this area, and how we can bring more economic activity and businesses to be located in the Klapmuts area. This is a significant development, especially because we are also partnering with our neighboring municipalities and our district municipalities to bring the best opportunities to this area in Stellenbosch municipality. Another critical portfolio is human settlements or housing development, as it's commonly known. And we are aware that, especially in Klapmuts, housing is a very sensitive issue. It's a hot issue. And the municipality is trying its utmost to ensure that housing opportunities are brought to this area. You will be aware as a community that there are various projects that are in their planning phases. And we are also looking at providing basic services for backyarders, which not only in Klapmuts, but throughout the municipality. The challenges that backyarders face are well known, and the municipality is looking at ways of changing policy and legislation to accommodate the needs of backyarders, which are also located on privately owned land. And this remains a bit of a challenge, but there are projects at work through the Provincial Department of Human Settlements to look at ways or novice ways of supporting backyard dwellers. The strategy of expanding the housing pipeline is part of the policy of the Western Cape Government, the national. So if a project is not listed on the municipal housing pipeline, province and national government will not allocate any funding towards that project. So the inclination within Stellenbosch municipality at this time is to look more at regionally and mega housing developments where we can include and cater for more communities rather than focus on a specific area and developing a housing project for that area. In Klapmuts specifically, we have identified a particular farm for a potential future housing development, and we are currently busy with a geotechnical investigation. In other words, looking at the suitability of the land for housing so that it complies with the minimum standards where you can construct housing. The housing pipeline is critical, and as a responsible municipality, we like to follow due process in alignment with provincial and national policy to bring the best opportunities to our communities. Other housing developments in Elsenburg and De Nova. In Elsenburg, we are busy with a feasibility study for the Vaaldry and Elsenburg areas, where we're looking at changing the urban edge and where there's a massive need for bulk works, infrastructure challenges that we are facing. And this is the major costs of new housing developments. If the bulk services, that is water and electricity and sewage works, are not in place, it first needs to be put in place before we can commence with any housing development. But this is a feasibility study that is being done in consultation and in support and with support of the provincial housing development. The De Novo project, which is more closer to the Kraaifontein area, but also forms part of Ward 18, is a project that is presently being driven by the Provincial Department of Human Settlement and Public Works, because the area is predominantly private land at the moment, which is in the process of being acquired by government, where a low-cost housing project will be developed. But this is still in its early stages of development. The Els River project is another project that the municipality is trying to get onto the housing pipeline. And we have commenced with a desktop study that is now in our own Human Settlements Department to determine the viability of this project. As soon as we have the outcome of the study, we will approach the Municipal Council and the Provincial Department of Human Settlements to start the formal process of getting funding for this project. So whilst a lot of these processes are in the initial stages, there is firm commitment by the municipality in partnership with the Provincial Department to explore all viable opportunities to provide local housing to the communities of Ward 18 and 19. Another project that has been very successful over the past 3-4 years, which has become a priority of the Western Cape Government's Department of Human Settlements, is to ensure that those people that have acquired ownership but whose title deeds have been outstanding or have been slow to being processed through our legal system, where the municipality is assisting the expedition of those title deeds. And over the past few years, in specifically the last 2 quarters in Ward 18 and 19, we have handed over 40 title deeds in Wards 18 and 19. But more importantly, across the municipality, a total of close to 1,400 title deeds have been registered. And that is through legal firms that is being contracted by the municipality to ensure that these title deeds are processed as fast as possible, so that people with title deeds, it opens up various opportunities, access to bank loans, because immediately you have become property owner, and that gives you a lot of leeway in terms of establishing businesses, registering projects, etc. So this is a very important project, and please liaise with our Human Settlements Department if you are a potential beneficiary of this project. The next portfolio is parks, open spaces, and the environment. Important to note that this includes the cleaning of rivers, the provision of play parks for children, and recreational parks. In Klapmuts, the last financial year, we have upgraded the existing park in Klapmuts with artificial grass, and we are also busy looking at establishing new parks in Elsenburg and De Novo. Open spaces, the general functions of the department is to ensure that trees are planted and maintained in open spaces. There's been a request from these communities for a swimming pool. Unfortunately, we have to report back that in the medium to short term, there are no plans to build a swimming pool in Ward 18 or Ward 19 because of the very restrictive budgets that we have that have curtailed our ability to invest in these kinds of services. Grass cutting remains a challenge throughout the municipality, especially when it comes to summer, when grass grows extremely fast. Presently, we operate a 6-week cycle for grass cutting. But of course, COVID has also impacted on that, and we are rapidly catching up on where we fell behind. Environmental plans and policies are consistently updated, especially when it comes in the sensitive areas where our green areas are in our natural open nature areas for alien clearing, and we continue to do that. also in the areas that are relevant in these two wards. So if you have any challenges with regard to that, or you are aware of where alien vegetation is overgrown, please inform the department. Burial space in Klapmuts. I think the general feedback there is we are in the final stages of getting approval for a new municipal burial site. And if that is approved in this financial year, the municipality would have secured enough burial space for the next 40 years, which is a significant development. But we'll update you on that in our next round of public participation, which is scheduled for April, May 2022. Then the portfolio for youth, sport and culture. With regard to youth, the focus of the municipality is on the providing training and training skills for youth. And this is a very popular program which is driven under the initiative of the municipal mayor, and it's funded by the Mayoral Youth Fund and driven by the Community Development Department of the municipality. And we provide various opportunities to young people to get to acquire various work-ready specific skills that will give them access to employment. For example, we train young people in basic plumbing skills. There are specific training programs that are geared towards the hotel and restaurant industry, 5-star table attendants, assistant chef, excuse me, and we also do general building maintenance training, and then young people that need driving licenses to apply for specific jobs, and also how to write your CV and your interviews and interviewing skills. This is a pretty important program, so please stay on the lookout for advertisements on the municipal website through your local councillor, and also through pamphlets that are distributed through the ward committees. And then there is specific reference to some of the projects that we've done in Klapmuts, specific life skill sessions that we've presented as part of the National Youth Development Agency. And then there has been complaints of vandalism at sports facilities in Klapmuts, and the municipality is busy working on a specific program. We have security in place, but the specific program is designed to work much closer with neighborhood watches, and through the Department of Community Safety, we have presented a program that entails the employment of facility guards, and hopefully within the next month or two, if that is approved by the Department of Community Safety, we'll be able to employ local people to perform that function and help us against vandalism that's continuously happening. In terms of the infrastructure services portfolio, which is a very extensive portfolio in the municipality, we're going to start with water and wastewater services, which is an extremely important service. So whenever we develop new housing projects and establish new or where people themselves establish informal housing areas, it needs to be supported by water services. Water needs to be provided, sewerage services, and it provides a major challenge, both financially, but also on linking these bulk services to the areas where housing development takes place. And these are very costly. I think I've alluded to that earlier, where the bulk services and the provision of these underground services are the major costs involved in developing new areas for infrastructure development. Some of the water supply areas in Ida's Valley that will be completed in February, a bulk sewer outfall in Jamestown, the new Plunkettberg, main sewer, and outfall phase was completed in October in 2020 already. And then a number of other projects, which the Roosendaal Reservoir upgrading, which is expected to be completed in 2022. And the cost of these water services runs into millions, tens of millions of rands. But it's critical that when we move into a new housing project and we open the tap, that there actually comes out water. When we flush the toilet, that it actually flushes. And when there's storms raging, that the storm water that comes down the street is actually taken away by the stormwater drains. So it's of critical importance that these kind of services are provided, and our infrastructure services department is responsible and busy with doing that in the clubments and areas where we are going to develop new housing projects in this municipality. The Indigent Household League Repair Program is where the municipality, where households is on private property. And in terms of the legal framework, we are not allowed to use municipal funds to repair those leaks. But through the Indigent Household Leak Repair Program, Council has passed or has approved that the municipality can support indigent households where water leaks are experienced. And in this period, for the last couple of years, we went through a major fright when it comes to drought and water shortages. So this is an extremely important program to eliminate water leaks. Waste management. I'm sure you will agree, waste management is another critical issue where we sit with a landfill site that is nearly full, and we're busy with a process of extending the lifespan of this landfill site. As we speak, we are transporting all our waste to Cape Town, to the Vissersdorp waste site of the city of Cape Town, which is costing huge expenses for the municipality. That is why the implementation of waste minimization projects is so important. And that includes recycling, plastic, your builder's rubble, your green waste, that is plants, that we really partner with the municipality and support the municipality's waste management department that have all these projects that helps us to minimize the waste that we take to the landfill site. So we are really appealing to you as a community to become part of our recycling projects and, as far as possible, limit the kind of waste that is deposited at the landfill site. Electrical services is another important service, and the reports from our last cycle was that there's a lot of areas in clubments where we need proper street lighting, where the street lights are not working. And I'm sure our electrical department, or at previous IDP meetings, we have reported that a lot of these electrical services are still being provided by Eskom. And the municipality is in the process of negotiating with Eskom the transfer of those electrical networks to Stellenbosch municipality, so we can maintain it and we can ensure that the provision of electrical services to clubmates and all our municipal areas remain constant and consistent, and that where there are defects, like the street lights in Weltevreden, in Longstreet, that was reported at our last meeting, and also in clubmates, that we are able to respond immediately. Presently, we are dependent on Eskom. So when we receive a complaint, we have to redirect it to Eskom and consistently ensure that they respond to those requests for maintenance and repairs and replacement of lights that are required. Please make use of those numbers of Let's Fix It that was displayed on your screen earlier. We have put it in this slide as well. You can see there. And whenever you see these service deficiencies or problems, please report it to the Let's Fix It telephone numbers. I have already alluded to the fact that streetlights belongs to Eskom and that you have to report it like that. Similarly, with the cooling of lights that was reported, that unfortunately the best that we can do at the moment is to inform Eskom. But as I mentioned earlier, we are engaging with Eskom to transfer those responsibilities or those networks to Stellenbosch municipality. And the specific one that you referred to was the one at the Kloof Road intersection with Polka Dry Road, where there has been challenges around street lighting over the last couple of months. And it is being noted by the electricity department. The road traffic services and traffic engineering is very important when you are in the need of street calming, where you need street calming measures, where there's in residential areas where there's high risk driving happening and reckless driving by people. Please, through your ward councillor, apply for street calming measures, and where those applications have been received, the traffic engineering department will investigate and determine whether, in terms of the present traffic rules, it is allowed in that area, and if it is, it will become part of the business plan of the traffic engineering department. Roads and stormwater is of critical importance. I have already alluded to that. Where you see potholes in your area and you see a road or a street that needs to be resealed, please ensure that that is reported through the Let's Fix It line, or if there's also through your ward committee and ward councillor. Those are all avenues for you to report those service needs. The next portfolio is community development and protection services, which is also one of the key service departments, especially since throughout the municipality, safety and security has consistently come up as one of the key IDP needs that have been raised by various communities across the municipality. And one of the things that we are doing actively is trying to support neighborhood watches more. Neighborhood watches, in terms of present legislation, fall under the CPFs, which falls under the jurisdiction of SAPS. So the municipality has no jurisdiction over neighborhood watches. But what we have resolved is we have budgeted money to provide neighborhood watches with enough equipment and also with training to make sure that neighborhood watches play a more effective role in their communities and in partnership with municipal law enforcement and as a supportive role to SAPS. Whilst Ward 18 and 19 does not have neighborhood watches as of yet, we as the municipality urges the community or encourages you to mobilize local community members into neighborhood watches, which can then be registered with the Department of Community Safety, through which they will qualify for funding and support from DOCS. And of course, as soon as they are registered, they will also come into consideration by the municipality for training opportunities and also to provide them with the necessary equipment. Another issue that was raised by both these wards is the importance of school patrols. Now, the municipality, as we have indicated the last time, we do not have enough full-time staff to ensure that school patrols or traffic services provide patrols in that area to safeguard pupils where they cross the street from their residential areas to the school premises. But what we do try to do is through the EPWP program if there's enough funding to provide EPWP workers to assist the community in this regard. So please talk to the Community Services Department, the Traffic Services, and see whether or not that program is relevant for your community. Another area that has been growing over the years is the question of, well, it's the service of providing CCTV cameras in the first instance to make our community safer and to be able to monitor those cameras for criminal activity and other reasons. Ward 18 and Ward 19 have cameras that we have installed and forms part of our camera master plan and cameras which we monitor through our control room. So these cameras are active. If there are any other areas that you require, please work very diligently through your ward councillor, because the funding for the last 2 financial years has come from ward funding, which have been provided by the ward councillors as part of the priorities that has been identified by the community. As indicated, the prime focus of these cameras is to be able to monitor these hotspot areas for criminal activity, which we then, through the municipal control room, are able to notify SAPs of these activities. Another important aspect to report back, what we have done is we have acquired funding from the Department of Community Safety, and we have utilized that funding to appoint temporary peace officers in the CBDs of Stellenbosch and Franschhoek to ensure that when our residents visit the towns of Stellenbosch, and Stellenbosch, especially the CBD, that our peace officers are able and visible in the parking areas, on the sidewalks of shops, in front of automatic bank teller machines, which in the past have formed the focus of criminals and petty thieves in town. The department also done regular risk assessment, and this last financial year, the ward-based risk assessment that was done in conjunction with the Cape Winelands District Disaster Management Section has been completed, and we are busy factoring in all those operational issues that came out of that assessment into the new disaster management plan that will be tabled with council before the end of this financial year, which is a pretty exciting development. It means that those risks that was identified by you as a community in your ward, those risks will be prioritized, and they will form part of the broader disaster risk management plan of the municipality. That is an important development. In our informal settlements and in clubmates, we have quite a number of informal settlements. We have also rolled out the smoke alarm project, where through our own funding and also funding received from the provincial government, we have installed a large number of smoke alarms in informal structures that will detect smoke and alert the residents of those structures of imminent fire that's going to start, which will enable us to respond quicker and restrict or curtail the number of fires that is so devastating in our informal areas. So please, if you know of an area or a group of informal structures where you don't have smoke alarms, please inform the fire department, and if we acquire more in this financial year, we will certainly make sure that they are installed in the most volatile or high-risk areas in the informal areas. Then community development, you are also aware of what our community development do, various programs for elderly persons, which are mobilized through local ward committee and also the various community development workers. Feel free to contact the department on programs that are delivered on an annual basis, on a quarterly basis. We have various programs through the various old age homes, the elderly citizen community clubs, and we also do door-to-door programs and assist the elderly who needs to get to vaccination sites. This is pretty important, but please contact the Community Development Department for further information on this. ECDs and children programs, which are critical and which is one of the areas that is going through huge changes, because the plans are afoot to move the responsible department of ECDs, which formerly fell with the Department of Social Development, and there are moves now to move it over to the Department of Education. There is also a new Children's Act that's in draft form that will have a significant impact on the way ECDs are being managed, funded, and also coordinated on a local level. This is in transition, but it does not mean that the municipal programs with ECDs coordinators and the ECD platform that we have, the various engagement that we have on a quarterly basis with the various early childhood development centers in the various communities will not happen. It will continue. The educational programs that we have and the support that the municipality gives to ECD coordinators, both in Klapmuts and De Novo. There are 28 ECD practitioners in these two wards, and the municipality, with their NGO partners like Stelcare, Cotlands, and also Working on Fire, continues to support these ECD practitioners to help them to comply with the criteria for setting up or the formalizing these ECD centers in their various communities. Gender programs, especially in this time where we are hard at work in the 16 days of activism against violence towards women and children. The municipality has got various special events and awareness programs to conscientize the communities around this very sensitive aspect. The Community Development Department also mobilized throughout the year educational programs where we work. For example, we recently mobilized 50 fathers in Klapmuts around the concept of fatherhood and how that impacted positive fatherhood and how to work with children as a dad, as a father, and also conducting workshops for single parents in our various communities, but specifically in the underprivileged communities and in communities where, in terms of the statistics that we receive from the South African Police Services, gender-based violence stats are particularly high. And then also with regard to this portfolio, we also have various programs directed at persons with disabilities. The municipality has a very progressive universal access policy that specifically deals with how municipal services can be made more accessible to people with disabilities across the various spectrums that you can find. And presently we are at the operational component of that, working through our various directorates and see how their processes and systems and the services that they provide can be aligned to the particular aspects of this universal access policy. Stellenbosch municipality is one of the leaders at local government level with regard to universal access. So please contact the Community Development Department if you need more information or if you have some input to make regarding universal access. And then another challenge that we sit with in Stellenbosch, and not only in Stellenbosch, it is a generic challenge across all municipalities in South Africa, is the question of street people and homelessness or vagrants that are roaming the streets. And in Stellenbosch, we have come up with a unique program where we have stopped giving people cash that are homeless or that are begging on our streets. What we have done is encourage people to buy electronic coupons or manual coupons at 15 local businesses that are supporting this project, the Give Responsibly campaign. We are working closely with departments at Stellenbosch University, NGOs, to market and promote this campaign, which allows us to, as responsible citizens in our various communities, to purchase these coupons at the various outlets and give the coupon to a street person or a homeless person, a coupon that will, for example, allow them to sleep at the night shelter, where they will get a meal and get a shower and get looked after, or perhaps buy a coupon at one of the businesses where they will be allowed to buy a bread and some other articles, but not alcohol, that will be a negative impact. So this is really a groundbreaking project. Please, as citizens of your ward, please try to make use of it and encourage people to support the Give Responsibly campaign. There are some stats at the bottom of how many coupons have been sold, how many has been redeemed, which gives an indication on how many street people and homeless people have been assisted through this project. Grant in Aid project is a significant support project from the municipality, where Stellenbosch municipality annually allocates close to 5 million rand that is then given as a grant to deserving organizations that does significant community-based work and dealing with some of our major social challenges in our communities. And this is across the various platforms of youth, gender, ECDs, old age homes, health organizations, even sport clubs, or whatever good social project comes to life in a registered organization that applies to the municipality through the recognized process and platform, the municipality will seek to support. The stats there speaks for itself. In the last cycle, we received 126 applications, that is from various organizations and NGOs, and of those applications, 90 organizations were approved. And if you are part of an organization or you are in the process of establishing an NGO and you are helping needy people in your community and in this ward, please contact the Community Development Department that will be happy to assist and support so that you can qualify to apply for these grants. Social relief of distress is another important service that the municipality renders in case of disasters, when there has been fires or major community-based disasters. The last financial year, we had 71 incidences where our disaster management and fire department responded primarily to shack fires, where we have people being rendered homeless and without an ability to feed themselves. All their amenities, their clothes were destroyed in the disaster. Then the municipality steps in and provide the initial support. Some of the statistics there speaks for itself.
just over 17,000 meals that were issued, just under 500 blankets, and we also support especially families with small children with vanity packs to allow them to provide the essential services in that first 2 to 3 days after the emergency. A very important service that the municipality offers, and which is easily accessible when you are exposed to these kind of stress. Finally, or maybe not finally, corporate services portfolio, which is a very extensive portfolio. And the report back here, the request at the last IDP was for the building of a new high school and primary school. Of course, that is not the business of the municipality, the educational sector. It's a provincial and national service or mandate. And through our IDP department, we have contacted the provincial IDP department and registered this need. The feedback will be provided by the provincial government through the education department, but that need has been communicated to the provincial department. And I think at our sectorial feedback of the IDP, the provincial department will give feedback on that. But just to put you at ease, that we have reported that to the provincial department. There's also been a very specific request for land for ECD facilities. And I think the community knows how short supply land is in Stellenbosch municipality, and especially in these two wards, where we are at the moment, busy engaging private landowners, farm owners to acquire land through the provincial department for housing. And ECD facilities is at this moment something that the municipality is not providing. We do support ECD facilities with training, and we help ECD facilitators with compliance regulations, but the provision of land remains a major challenge. And also with the policy changes that's in the process of happening, we encourage you to stay in touch with community development to stay aware of what is happening in that space. There's also been a request for a 24-hour clinic. Once again, health is a provincial mandate, and our departments have communicated that to the Provincial Department of Health, and at our sectoral engagement, the Provincial Department of Health will give feedback on progress with regard to that. And ward priorities, it consistently comes up that how is this determined? So through your ward committee, you will also have an opportunity to engage with your ward committee and finalize those ward priorities, which I've indicated at the outset, the various platforms that you can use to submit those with us. So either through your ward committee, either through yourself individually, accessing our electronic platforms through the website, the Stellenbosch Citizen app, through Facebook, through WhatsApp or email. Please articulate it very clearly and then submit it through our IDP department. The email has been provided earlier on, and these are the avenues or platforms that you as a resident of Ward 18 and 19 can use to submit your needs so that it can be registered with the IDP department for consideration for inclusion in the IDP. The closing date for those submissions, which we have mentioned earlier, but want to reiterate now and stress now, is the 12th of January. Please make sure that you make a note of that, and that those needs are communicated to the municipality before or up to the 12th of January 2022. And again, the contact details, especially the email address of the IDP department, is very important in that regard. Now for a few announcements that I've referred to also in the beginning as part of the agenda. Our spatial development framework at Stellenbosch Municipality, at previous sessions of the IDP and the cycle, we have always referred to the Municipal Spatial Development Framework. A new amendment process is about to commence as we are starting with the 5th generation of the IDP. And as part of that, a lot of the priorities and plans of our various directorates have changed, and that impacts on the spatial development framework. So what we will embark upon over the next few months as part of this IDP process, you will be requested to submit your comments and inputs with regard to the SDF as a strategic municipal plan that will look at the long-term spatial vision of the municipality. In other words, which areas of the municipality, which land use areas are going to be designated for what purposes, which areas will be stipulated for human settlement, which areas will be stipulated for industrial development, which areas will be stipulated or earmarked to remain natural and green areas. And this is very important for the character and specific priorities of Stellenbosch, and that is why it is linked to the IDP and form part of this IDP that will then go to Council towards the end of May for approval on May 2022. Just again, the SDF amendment process, which runs alongside the IDP process, but separate notifications will be sent out for consultation. There will be internal project steering committee that will coordinate those inputs that will also be requested at the various IDP engagements and directly to the various stakeholders of the municipality. Please take note of that and make sure that if you are seriously interested in how this municipality is spatially projected to develop or meant to evolve over many years, this is the document that you need to scrutinize and make sure that your area is given fair consideration when it comes to future planning for development, industry, and residential and recreational needs. This is just a summary of the SDF amendment actions and the plan, how the plan will then, after input is requested from the various community and stakeholders, it follows a particular route through the project steering committee that will incorporate those comments. It goes to council for consideration, and then it comes back after council has approved a draft. Then it will go back to the communities in April, May for further comments and inputs. After it will then finally come back for final approval as part of the IDP at the end of May, and that will then become the official business plan of the municipality for the next 5 years, which will of course be reviewed annually. Another piece of valuable information, because we are embarking on a 5th generation of IDP, and with the just recently completed municipal or local government elections and the inauguration of a new municipal council, it is now the time also for the Municipal Demarcation Board to start the process of relooking the various municipal boundaries, or what is referred to as the redetermination of the municipal boundaries throughout South Africa. So there will be a period where until 31 March 2022, where the various stakeholders and the members of the public can submit proposals to the Municipal Demarcation Board. If you have a strong opinion as to how you would like to see the various ward boundaries or municipal boundaries be changed because of various factors, there are of course very clear criteria that governs that and determines that. So please become aware of that. But if you have any proposals or ideas, you can contact or submit your proposals to the email address of the demarcation board, which is on the screen, or you can contact our IDP department post this presentation if you need further detail. And another important development is Statistics South Africa, who will be conducting the annual 10-year census. Normally the census, the counting of the South African population, is done every 10 years. The last census was done in 2011. So now we have been, I recall at the last IDP session we did inform the communities of the population count that will happen towards the end of 2021, early 2022. So that has now been confirmed. So the census will effectively take place, the actual counting for the facilitators, the surveyors that will go around the various communities will happen in February. Prior to that, there will be a recruitment process. That is more or less the timetable for the census that will take place on the 2nd of February 2022. Prior to that, there's a presently underway is a recruitment process for temporary recruiters or field workers that will be employed by Stats South Africa to conduct the census, and that will go house by house throughout the municipality. There's various processes that they will go through, but it's important to note that February, the 2nd of February, is the most important date that you most probably will be required to provide information to these field workers that will be visiting your home here in Stellenbosch municipality. I think let me just go back to the one important point that I want to make is that the recruitment database where you can register yourself has been open since the 25th of October 2021. You still have until the 31st of January, if you are interested in becoming a field worker, to register yourself on that database for potential recruitment. Once again, in conclusion, the IDP process is an opportunity for you as a resident of Stellenbosch municipality to have your say. You are not standing outside of the process of determining the business plan for your area, for your community, for your municipality. This IDP process provides you with an opportunity to make an input, to articulate what are the priority needs in your ward, in your community. Please use this opportunity to direct those needs and to convey it to our IDP office so that they and the municipality, as part of their project planning, can consider it for inclusion in our municipal strategic plan, the IDP, or commonly our business plan for the next 5 years.